in times of the past. We'll be loose from oppressions at last. How united we ever will stand for the welfare of all in this land. Hey, hooray to our island, St. Andrew, Old Providence and Little St. Catherine. Soon your children will gain to each attainment every merit whichever receive. No more strangers will rule in our home. No injustice to cause us to roam. We have the help of the Almighty above, who shall lead us along in His love. Hey, hooray to our island, St. Andrew, Old Providence and Little St. Catherine. Soon your children will gain to each attainment every merit whichever receive. No more evil on us shall befall. Soon there'll be peace and justice for all. We're together as one in God's might. To gain freedom we'll win every fight. Hey, hooray to our island, St. Andrew, Old Providence and Little St. Catherine. Soon your children will gain to each attainment every merit whichever receive.
Yes, good morning. We're back here again on our next emission of our Voice of the Raizal Nation streaming program live to you through our social media. Here from the island of San Andres, from the archipelago of San Andres, Old Providence, and Catalina in the Western Caribbean. We're happy to be back here again, and today we will get over to you a next series of information around the accountability report of the Raizal Council, the Raizal Authority of the Raizal people. Before we go into this, we just want to extend our sympathy and condolence for the family of who was known as Glenn Coy. This is one of our Raizal from the diaspora that play a key role in the looking for the welfare, the rights, and the development of the people of this archipelago, of his people. Unfortunately, he passed away yesterday. He's a family of Dr. Ralph Newball Sotelo. Through Dr. Ralph, we get to meet him. He was the former president and founder of the FIOPS organization that helped so much and continue to help back home. They are there in the United States of America, and they had set up this organization to help their people, demonstrating concern, compassion, love, and care. They did it in such a way during the recovery from the Hurricane Iota and Eta, and they keep pushing many projects, social projects, development projects in the archipelago, especially in Old Providence and Catalina. I get to meet him, and he's such a touching, kind, and lovely person, friendly. And really, we lament that he passed away. We won't like it be so soon. And last week we was as well extended our sympathy for the passed away of our brother in Providence, Robert Britton, and now again we lament the pass away of Glenn Coy. I share here some photos of Glenn. That was it was last year. I was there in Miami. Yes, I think it was last year, and yeah, we had a nice come together with the Raizal diaspora people that team up to help back home. Yes, that's Brother Glenn. Okay, we before we get into the report for the fifth chapter for our accountability report, we have to say last week Friday when we was here, we advanced certain things and to update you some briefly of some happenings during the week that passed. Friday, it was the last day. I was there at the Hotel Aquarium, where the Raizal Council took the initiative to squat there as an act of protest against the rumors of intention that this office named by Sai, we understand, intent to sell that place, that hotel, and we squat there and we raise a list of petition to that office of the SAI. They agree was to meet with us to come from Bogota, meet with us on Thursday. I think it was Thursday, yep. I think, yes, it didn't happen. They didn't present themselves. And well, we lift up that squatting there at the hotel. We don't end the struggle. We are continue working on the legal actions because we are convinced that it's true there. We want to stop and correct the series of abuse of this office and of robbing the properties and the assets that really belongs to the Raizal people. Through that legal action that we are working on, we expect not to stop only this issue with the Hotel Aquarium, but all of them that are going on and that they pay for the damages and the abuseful action that they did already in all these years. This office have given destination to the money and to the use of the goods, lands, properties, buildings, vehicles, etc., without no type of consultation with the Raizal people. When the law established that its final destination should be to benefit the Raizal people of this archipelago. So those to update you there, the legal actions will continue around this by the leadership of the Raizal Council, and welcome everyone that would like to help because the work is great, it's big, and the workers are few. As well, this week they had an encounter here in the island, a call by the national government, mainly by the Ministry of Interior or the Vice Ministry of Social Dialogue and the Dirección de Asuntos de Comunidades Negras. They supposed to call it to look over basically three issues. The same thing that we are dealing with the SAI, that we asked, most of the things that we asked from the SAI on our strike last week was to have a table where we do a constant talking and looking over all the list of things that they are doing. That is something, that table, the mesa, the negotiation or whatever for the SAI and us that we request, that will take a long time because it's a lot of information there to deal with and it's just So in this meeting this week that this government call, they pushing this that we already working on and fighting over this that they call also the Mesa site. And a next thing that they appear in doing in this meeting that they give space to the a committee from the islands of Providence and Catalina that doing following up of the complying of the sentence of the Constitutional Court T333 for the reconstruction of the islands after the Hurricane Iota. They have a long list of agreement that result from that prior consultation, around 300 and odd agreement, a huge and associated with a huge amount of resources of money to comply in different areas. So they have that space also there to render account on the different offices that have something to comply with amongst the list of agreement. And they have authority issue what they intend to deal with, which is the something that we commonly asked for the last 2 3 years. The last request, one of the last requests we made was in December when we met face to face with President Gustavo Petro here in San Andres Island, and we leave a written letter to him dated on the 11th of December 2025, where we asked for a long list of things, including to reactivate they call the Mesa Raizal or Mesa Interlocución y Diálogo. That is something that was established, that Mesa Raizal, in the Decree 1211 from 2018, a mesa that formed basically by the Raizal Council and the delegates them of the Raizal delegates them for the National Space of Prayer Consultation, along with the government, national and local government. That's the Mesa Raizal. So they had that on the table where we manifested from the week before to this national government that we didn't agree on the way they was calling up the meeting, because they had been dropping and failing in what we was coming doing with respect, dealing with the Raizal Council, the national government dealing with Raizal Council, in a dialogue that they wanted call from government to government, you know, the government of the Raizal people, the self-government, and the government of the Colombian state. It had dropped because there had been those sightings, at least the people that they had hired there at the Ministerial Interior, obviously Ministerial Interior, those citing in a disrespectful way, and it won't work. So they don't do that with the indigenous people. You consult the minimum details of timing, of place, of the methodology, of the logistic with the people. Okay, we are not employees of the state. Now we are there available 24 hours to those moving as they say so. Yep. So that went on in a certain way with not much participation on the say officially of the Raizal Council. You have members there. And we look forward that the government can understand. We send many letters after the one that we sent last week protesting. We sent two more in these last days, and we insisting on ratifying in the disorder that they're having and the misinterpretation that they're having of that decree 1211 from 2018. That's more or less a brief update of the happening of these last 7 days. So with that, let's go to our matter, which is the accountability report of the Raizal Council. The fifth part today, May 1st, 2026. So today we want to share a couple more things. Next week, Friday, we have to have a next chapter. I think it's taking us two more chapters yet to go through fully of all what we have to inform to our people that we done in this last year. So we just like to share here about the partnerships and the supporters that we built the Raizal Council, the Raizal Authority. Nobody, no organization, no government do anything on their own. We are not souls of absolute independency. We are living in a world where we interconnected and we are interdependable one to another. And that goal, as somebody did say, I learned something many years ago that really stayed deep in me. If the person said, there are no absolute independency in the world. Absolutely, absolute independency don't exist. No country, absolutely none, not even the powerfulest one, depend only on themselves. But they are related and it depends in lower or higher level with others, nations, states, organization, etc. Yep, that is a fact. And so, referring to the Raizal Council, we have that clarity of how this word function, and we build partnership. We seek supporters, and we seek to support who we can support. Everything according to our capacity that we go building, because we are a young instance of self-government, the Raizal Council, the Raizal Authority. We go building capacity, we go building relation with others, and here we cite couple in in locally at the local level, for example, in matter of partnership. Well, the Raizal Council don't have the basis, the capacity to attend by itself all the duties and work that is there to do. So it rely on others and it team up with others, it do partnership with others, and one of them that it do partnership in San Andres Island is RDC, the Raizal Development Center, the organization that is here with its headquarters at the Christian University of San Andres and Providence in San Andres Island. RDC had been established in its social object with a clear intention to support the Raizal Authority because its founder, the founders of RDC, are aware of that fact that the Raizal Authority need help, need support. And RDC try to take care of much of the load and the work that fall upon the Raizal Authority, especially the works them in technical issues. So RDC have a nature to do and to have the technical base for the Raizal Authority can act on lawyers, legal advisors. We supply legal advisors to the Raizal Authority, to the Raizal Council, RDC. I'm the president of RDC actually. And we supply legal advisement to them. The communication platform for the Raizal Authority, for the Raizal people to communicate out there with the people, again as well, RDC, the Raizal Development Center, help in that. It had equipped itself and it have a strong basis in communication, a powerful streaming studio, and now we have an internet radio that we those take out this week. For next week, we have us 24 hours out there. And we supply that to the Raizal Authority. That's a partnership that the Raizal Authority built with RDC, and it becomes strong when we work together. Pastor Edgardo, good morning. So good.
Hey, good morning, brother Hyro. Good morning. Sorry for getting in few minutes late, man.
Yes, that's okay.
Oh,
So
yeah.
good to have you again with us. We are here
Yes.
on our fifth chapters of the accountability report, Pastor, of the Raizal Council, the Raizal Authority. So I start sharing here the way the partnerships and the supporters that the Raizal Authority seek to work with, because we explained that it cannot the authority cannot the Raizal Authority cannot do and carry through its mission, its duties, the pile of work and problem that you have to tend to on its own. Moreover, is as such a young instance of self-government, the Raizal Authority, that it don't have much basis, yeah, and the short life that they have they had dedicated in other things, relying and depending on the money from the national government or the local government to might be meeting here and meeting there. And but the base and the strength to have an institutional capacity to work, they don't have it, and they have to build it. And part of building it is an indirect way to associate with others, to build relation and partnership with others. So we explain here, we first relationship of the Raizal Authority, the one that is built with our organization, the Raizal Development Center, that supply support to them. As
Yes.
well, yes, yes, go
Sorry,
ahead.
man. No, no, no. I was just going to say that partnership is really important and necessary, and the partnership between the Raizal diaspora and the Raizal Development Center and the Raizal Authority. Um, I would say, Brother Hyra, it's just rooted, in a shared commitment to the protection and the development and the long-term sustainability of the Raizal people. You know how long, Brother Hyra, we have been trying to have an office, even when we were just EMNSD, and even to the day, well, thank God the Raizal Authority have a little office or a space where they can work with. I think you mentioned that down at the Raizal Development Center. So people need to know that you just don't work a government just out of nothing or by yourself. So it's important these partnerships that you mentioned, um, and each partner plays a distinct role. The collaboration functions as a complementary process or team, that bridges, local government, community, global solidarity. You know how much meeting a president have to attend every day,
Yeah. Yeah,
and
very
who,
good.
who is going to attend all those meetings?
Very good. Very good that you mentioned that. Because you see, Pastor, I noticed the mistake that many, even leaders or racial leaders, having that they want to exact the presence all time and the whole day of, for example, the president of the racial authority, the racial council. That won't work so, as way you explain it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is just impossible. You will burn them, you will burn them out. They will burn them out, physically burn them out, and not the reality. They have other things to attend. They are doing ad honorem work. It's not paid, so they have to comply with their work in the duties in whatever their real, work is. And you mentioned it. You look at any president of any country, and that's the work. They send a minister, or they send a vice minister, or they send a army of workers, of functionaries, or people hired, because the work is huge. And the more the work get huge, more bigger, the government, the president continue to increase his staff and hiring more people. Okay, so they have to mentalize that. They have to take out. We have to take out of our mind that we want to have the president of the Raizal Authority sitting down in a 3-day meeting, 8 hours every day with these people. It won't work. So I lived the experience dealing with the indigenous people in Colombia, and you know something, their leaders, what they call the Taita, they don't remain in those whole day meeting, but they send others, usually workers, people that they have hired, attorneys, social workers, different from different profession. And those are the people that attend the meeting the whole day. And you will see the head, the Taita, the authority of the indigenous people, might be a dropping sometime in the day, and he does. I noticed he does go and sit near one of the main advisors that they have in the meeting, and that person will update the indigenous authority. And maybe he say one or two words and he stay a few minutes and he gone.
Mm-hmm.
We have to get out of that colonized and slavery mind, you know, that impede us to see that we are also a government, and we are people, a nation,
Exactly.
and we build as a nation, we build a government too, and we have to act and work similarly other government because it's similar. The load that any government have, any nation have, the other one also have it in one or other measurement, but the load is huge, and you have to work it wisely and intelligently, relying on people to do the work.
Yes. And Hiro, yeah, I think the root of the problem in a way start from what you mentioned. People don't look on the Raizal Authority as a government. They look on it as any simple organization around here, like many of those that we have that maybe just work with the president or the director of that, and maybe have two or three people, little things, and they are not doing every day. A government works every day. You understand me, Harry? The Raizal Authority doesn't have a work a few hours, or they work every day 24 hours. A government, you know. Uh, we mentioned about meetings. What about letters and documents? Do people believe that, for example, the governor or the president is the one who writes his letters, or or speeches? Even the speeches, Iro, they have somebody to write the speech for them. They don't have time for that. They You see, when the president go to speak, someone bring um a folder or something with the speech for the president. That no, it's not the president who wrote it. He might give some ideas of what he want to say, but he have someone to write it. All the letters, you know how many letters we would need to be sending every day, out to different judge office, governmental offices, all these places. The president, Raisal, would need at least 3, 4 secretary, Brother Hiro, just for that. So is a lot of different aspect where we need to obviously grow and have, like, how you have it organized, how it's organized, have a secretary for this, a secretary for that, just how the government think government. We have to think government.
Right. Very good. Very good. Thank you, Pastor. Pastor Alberto, our president of the Raizal Council, is connected this morning. We welcome you, Pastor. We take heads. He
Okay.
disconnected. Okay, yes.
Good
Okay.
morning,
Thank you.
President. Good
Hey, good
morning,
morning, man.
President.
Yes, sir.
How are
Listen,
you? You're talking to the Secretary of Foreign Affairs.
yeah, that's what it is. You see, that these kind of task or offices, we call it positional leadership thing. It's never easy, and as the African saying go, the tree with the sweetest fruit get the more stone. So
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
like mango
after
tree.
yeah, after listening to what you see, people don't understand government. Number one, people see government as something they can get something from on a personal level, but they don't see government as a general thing, as a coverage, as a protection to safeguard the interests and the cause, let's put it that way, of a people. So they see government only on a unilateral, let's put it this way, personal, selfish uh, pursuit. But if I see government working 24/7, as you said, in the big things and small things. You mentioned about writing letters. What make them believe that government or the leader or the president is the one who write all those letters? I mean, Hara writes some, you write some. Everybody is helping to put letters together. We have lawyers. Government has legal offices and legal bodies. We have a legal body.
Hmm.
So that's government also. How about the amount of actions, legal actions that we have filed against the nation, against different issue, the local government, against individual who put up things against us. So we have to answer every attack. Government is being attacked, and that's normal. So we have been responding to all the attack, putting out all the fires. We have had demands. We have had requirements. We have had people who recruiting us. We have had people who have accused us. We've had people who even make other issue like demanding and suing for money, uh, bringing up cases. We have had to use, for example, we have liar from like 3 4 years ago, and it's just this year we were managed to start paying. Well, we paid him a little bit last year, but you imagine some a liar working for you for 4 years and you haven't been able to pay him. Yeah. So and that's what we had. So last year, Haro and I decided that okay, we will see how we can find the means to pay the liar, and we start doing it. And that doesn't cost 5,000 peso or 2 million or 3 million. Hey, a liar honors. You have to recognize that. And so we have right now we have all of these liars working with us. We have some up to now that are volunteering, are giving us legal assistance. Those are things that people don't see, that they say, well, okay, you're not doing anything. If we didn't do the legal issue, of course they would rip us open. Of course they would take everything from us. But we have fighting the Raizal cause on all legal ground, on ethnical, ancestral, and legitimate rights, on legal, ordinary justice, and passing any amount of letters and demands to the national government and the different ministries. We have traveled. The Hiro have traveled more than I have, because it's not all the time I can. And the Hiro is witness. When we travel, we don't travel on the Raizal Council expense. We travel most of the time on my personal expense, and on occasions Hiro has helped me out also to travel. So this is the only government that don't have money to travel, but we do it because we know it's a cause. It's more than a cause. It's a people right. And so this is what government do. You don't wait for a resource to come in. You face the demand, you answer them, and then you find ways after how to make up. And this is part of what how government administrates. So that's really how it works. And thank you, Pastor Edgardo, Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Diaspora. Uh, and we have our General Secretary, Government of Interior here, who is Jairo Rodriguez. And we have all the other ones there. Well, You know, we have to begin to look at us and see what we are doing, and then put it, contextualize it for people. Maybe they don't see it that way, so we have to begin to put names to it, so they will begin to understand what we are really doing. A few days ago we began to talk about setting up the Raizal Guard. This is government. Our government must have some kind of uh, armed force or force to protect and to do all the things. So that's what we've been doing, you know, and but they don't understand that. Well, this is awesome. I just love this, and it's an opportunity to inform our people. So,
And,
Minister of Foreign Affairs and uh,
and
Secretary of Interior.
Pastor Alberto, Jairo was mentioning the other day. I never know that, but Jairo did mention the other day that the indigenous people, they have office, them from all over Colombia, Cauca and all these places.
Oh
They
yeah.
have offices in Bogota.
Hey, Harold took me to that place, and I was like frozen. I mean, you're talking about floors, first floor, second floor. Hey, these people have office. When I saw all the technology these people have, when I saw the floors and all that they have, I says, "Oh my goodness, we are still in Pampers. We haven't been able to win ourselves." Because while we are fighting for things, they have it clear. In fact, they copied some of the things for us when we first started in Amen. And look where they have gone. While we keep fighting over the aquarium, they have gone into the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
This is amazing. I mean, I couldn't believe when Haro took me to that one place. I said,
Sure, because a lot
I
of things, Pastor, happen in Bogota. You know that, you have to go to all these different ministerios, to the presidency, to this office, to the other office, and you are, let's say you and Jairo left and go Bogota. You all don't have nobody there to receive you. You have to find where to stay yourself. you need a secretary who is going to help you make a letter if you have to make a letter quickly, or all these different support that the indigenous people they have. They have even radio stations in Bogota or wherever they are. They are organized and structured and have all the institutional capacity to keep up with their government.
Well, we let's welcome Pastor Eddie. Pastor Eddie Mr. Williams. So honored to have him this morning again with us. Pastor, good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning,
Study,
Pastor.
whole things, Pastor.
Great.
Listening to you guys. Finally, I get to connect one of these Fridays. So I'm excited to accompany and learn and to share whatever capacity I can. No? So thank you for the invitation.
Thank you. You are a clear example, Pastor Eddie, as what we're talking about this morning to conscious our people of what it takes this type of struggle. Pastor Eddie are not with us on many past programs on Friday morning because he coincides that time with his work where he have to, he's hired, and we are doing this affair ad honorem. And if we have a work where we have to hustle to care our food home and maintain and sustain our family, we cannot just walk away from that. We have to find ways to balance, and our people, members of the Raizal Authority or the Raizal Council, fit in whenever the time permit them to do so. We might have couple members in the Raizal Council that are already on pension, and they give more facility for them to attend and help in this or next thing. But we call on our people to be conscious and stop be lead by people that put you against those that are sacrificially serving you in a way. Instead of be grateful, you become ungrateful. Ungratefulness is a mortal sin. If you don't believe, check the Bible and see what happened to Moses.
Definitely. Upon that point, as I listen to the president and the Minister of Foreign Affairs and the General Secretary of our Raizal government, I think one of the issue here among us, and I want to emphasize that, but one of the issues sometimes we think in a platonic way. We think that things will be perfect and things will be fine, and we are not, as the Jamaican they will say, you are not jumping into the frying pot to feel how the fire hot in the pot, but we are quick to find excuses and point finger. I think it is time enough for us to look at ourselves and see what can we contribute. I think it was John F. K. who said that, don't ask your country to do for you. Ask yourself what you can do for your country. And I think that's me personally. I have come to that conclusion that instead of trying to point finger, this one is not doing this one is not doing the other thing, I am asking myself what I can do and what I need to do to contribute to this process, because we are really at a serious tipping point as a people, and we need to come to that consciousness. Like we are seriously at danger and at risk of not only losing our space and our land, but even disappearing what we know to be precious to us, which is our culture, our values, our virtues. And that is very alarming. So whatever we can do from our vantage point, I think we need to come to that conclusion and say, we start living in the past about complaining about this one didn't do this one or this one didn't do that. But we need to ask ourselves, what we can do, what we can do to shift and to help this process. And as I said, we have this platonic perfection of farm in our mind of our government. Our non-government that is set up is going to be perfect, especially when you are setting up something. There are going to be things that would be missing. But if you can contribute to strengthen it instead of weaken it, we need to do that. I was reminding of, I think a couple weeks ago or last week ago, in our worship gathering at the church, we were talking about the Apostle Paul, who uh, was encouraging the Corinthian church to say like, hey, instead of trying to destroy something, why don't you, by love, build up each other? If you find a brother who is weak or a sister who is weak, instead of putting more weight on them, try to build them. And I think that's where we need to come as Raizal people. Like we need to learn to trust each other and work with each other. We are not going to be perfect. We are not going to have everything together, and we are going to find fault and we are going to find excuses, but we need to find ways to encourage ourselves. As you guys are sharing this testimony about these other groups, people that learn from us, saw our model and saw it fit for their cause, yet we see like in a past in time, instead of advancing and progressing as a people, because we have come to this point. But I don't find our people either, because we have a system. We need to look at the systematic work that has been done among us as a people to get us to this point. And that's where we need to decolonize our mind in that sense. So that's what I wanted to share a little bit in terms of what we are talking about.
Very good. Very good. Thank you so much, Steady. So in that line, we continue to share others of our partners and supporters. We don't share the spirit of teamwork. We just mention briefly, we have AMNSD, the Archipelago Movement for Ethnic Native Self-Determination. AMNSD continue to lead many of the process, and what the Raizal Authority do is simplify in harmony and support in what is necessary and permit them to continue do the work that they come in. Amen. They continue in many legal action. For example, the demand that they put down the I think it's a popular action, right, Pastor Edgardo, where they enforce the government to do the population carrying capacity, and that is hot right now on the table. And what the Raizal Authority do is surround MNSD in the process that already they started. And so on, you have an organization, you got this organization of young people, young Raizal people, one Raizal they name, and we look the ways, in whatever we can work along with them, they will same way bear a next portion of the load of work, and we just permit that. But the common issue in all this teamwork is to be harmonized in action, that
Yes.
we don't end up in loose wheel, independent nation, one going here, one going there. That's the challenge, and the spirit that have to be there amongst us, that they have that disposition to help and work together. Not the intention to be a protagonist and those to be protagonists, but to be real servant leaders, that fit and understand that we have to team up to do the work.
Yeah. Jairo, I think it would be, if you have it at hand, if you could just show quickly the structure at INRA, how the structure at INRA is built with all the different groups, all the different organizations, women, youth, elders, spiritual leaders. Uh, exactly, yes. Look on all the different organizations. The idea was for all the different organizations, like Amen and those that you mentioned in Providence, in San Andres, surround around the Raizal Council and farm these different structures that you have there. Yes.
Right. That's the idea. That's the design of the Raizal Authority, and we keep their rehearse on this. That the people don't believe the Raizal Authority is just the Raizal Council. No, it can't work so it can't be them alone. It's just one single piece, and it's the piece of the structure that might be more visible because they do the talking with the national Colombian government and other government, international and so forth. But behind the Raizal Council should be a whole set of supportive bodies, that really help hold up that giant work that we have to deal with. Women's, young people, elders, the diaspora, teachers, organizations, professionals, economic sectors, the spiritual board. That's the work. And something else? This bottom part of the structure, you have a next set of, that is more the executive body. People that might have to be hired and working there constantly to get the work done. you know and we believe in that. We believe in paying people. Who can afford to give voluntarily is welcome. It's all we had been doing all this time, because our capacity never give more than that. But we firmly believe in working and seeking resources to pay a certain staff to get the work going. you know for example, when you talk about the Raizal Guard, if you have to have some people setting up the whole night, tell me something. It can't be just that every Raizal sleeping home in their warm bed, comfortable in their comfort zone, and 3 or 4 men out there taking care, um, guarding for their sake. We have to be reciprocal. So that is where those that are guarding could easily the home sleeping as well, or looking means to have an income for their family, their children, or whatever. So if they're going to bear part of the load, you can think on a correspond with them, in that sacrificial, because it pass a level where you cannot abuse and think they have to do it as volunteership.
Exactly. Jairo, you mentioned the racial diaspora, and I think this is a time for me to clarify something, since I kind of represent that, because there are some voices on the island that criticize the racial diaspora, suggesting that because we do not live physically on the islands, we should not participate in the racial process, or that we attempt to give orders from afar, from our comfort zone. Like they say, oh, they are up there in their comfort zone. Well, Pastor Eddie lived up here for many years, and he can tell you that not because you are in the United States, you are living in comfort zone. Yes, you have some advantages and all these things, but this perception does not reflect the reality. Brother Jairo and Pastor and Eddie, how the diaspora engage with our people. The racial diaspora does not govern, we no command or replace local leadership. We do not issue orders. Our role is to support. The racial diaspora facilitate and accompany the work that is led by you all, by the Raizal Authority, by the grassroots leaders, traditional authorities, and the community organizations on the islands. From outside here, from the diaspora, we listen carefully to you all, to what is happening down there, to the priorities. We try to mobilize resources and funding opportunities, build strategic partnership wherever we can, provide advocacy support. All direction comes from the ground, and the diaspora follows the leadership of those who are living the struggle, who are down there with boots on the ground. you know and racial identity and responsibility, I want to say, do not disappear with distance. Many in the diaspora left the island due to many reasons. No, it's not because they don't love their island. Serving from abroad is not something that we control, but an act of solidarity. If I talk on my personal reason, Brother Jairo, I'm not up here because I want to be up here. I'm up here because God have me here, and I don't want to be anywhere where God is not sending me. If God asks me tomorrow, I want to send you home, I am the first one to jump and say yes, I go home. You know, I have had many opportunities to go back to for churches to go back and serve in San Andres, but I am here where God sent me. Here in the desert, there are people ask me, why are you here in El Paso, where from your beautiful island? Well, ask Moses why he was in the desert for 40 years. And I always tell people, Brother Jairo, that God sent me to El Paso to humble me. And maybe when he believe I humble enough, he want to take me back to San Andres,
like Moses.
Yeah, like Moses. But yeah, so our participation is guided by respect, accountability, a collaboration, always rooted in listening and never imposing nothing. In fact, I told Brother Hyro, you know what? You remember Hyro, I told you the other day, I'm going to start to propose things where there is sacrificial need because I'm not there. Like if I say a proposal, Uno boy, make it go march. We need to go on the street, go march. And I'm not there to go on the street to march. I don't think that should come from me. That's supposed to come from you all who are there. You know what I mean? If I was down there and I'm going to go there and march, then I would say that. But I decide I feel guilty when I make a proposal that involve what would be the word sacrifice, and I'm not there to walk in the same waters, you know. But we
Yeah.
are
Well,
just here to support.
sometime pastor sacrifice no means that the person who make the proposal has to do it. Sometimes in everything you have the people who design, put it into building. The engineer make the calculus with the distance from one column to another. He tell you the capacity of what could go above. But the architect come in who work with space. And then the maestro, the other we call it, the mason, the other ones, those are the builders. But uh, some people design things, some people divide things, and some people are the one who make them happen. But without the design and the division, you're not gonna have it. So I see things like in this perspective, you know, looking at how things work, how the world set up. Uh, the head, that hierarchy lead into something the other day we're talking, and he said that the people, and for example, the Taita among they don't go is they have people who go to the meeting to represent them, and like he may show up like a 2 3 minutes, sit beside them to get an idea where things is going, and then he disappears again because this meeting is consuming. But people want you to be in every meeting. Every meeting. If I wasn't a pastor, if I wasn't a husband, if I didn't have children, I
Mm.
didn't have anything else to do. But I can't give up my work. I can't give up the church. Like, I mean, some people can go to every meeting every day. I wish I could. And
Mm-hmm.
some days I'm with other things. So we can't please everybody.
Good.
Exactly.
Good. I think the explanation is clear there. We want to those leave this that the let's be gratefulness, and we are living today in a globalized world. The geographical frontiers they are done long ago. Maybe you haven't wake up yet and catch on the world that you are living into now. Over 3 decades, over 30 or 40 years, the situation have changed. Wake up. There are no limits, geographical limits that existed 3 4 decades behind. Today we can connect up to technology and modernity. So the work is done in association with people from any part of the world. The internet permit much of that telecommunication. People are doing studies from where they are without getting up on a plane and study with any university, any part of the world. They can work for a company from where they are without jumping on a plane for a company in any other part of the world. And so is the work of a government, medical affairs. So wake up and stop criticizing because you see somebody pushing their mouth or pushing their hand to help back home. if the situation permit them to do it, be thankful. They are not pushing you aside. You know, you should criticize your own self. Why you don't push up and harmonize with the work that is being done by the contrary. Okay. So with that, we continue here naming some more of our supporters and partners in Providence. We have to mention iFish, the Association of Fishermen, led by your friend and brother Edgar J. Stevens. We have also Trees and Reef as a foundation that exists long ago, and we are working certain things with them internationally. That's the organization that we work together with, along with the Raizal Development Center and the Raizal Council, the Raizal Authority, to get a case there at the Inter-American Commission of Human Rights. We have the Veeduría Cívica of Wool Providence that we there as well. They are doing the work, and we there available to surround them in whatever, especially the chapter of the Raizal Council there in Providence that are there with them in that process for the reconstruction of the island. The chapter of the Raizal Council in Providence to support the Veeduría. Churches we are being supportive with. We ask prayer. By the way, we start every day space at midday where we pray. We call that's a new program that the Raizal Authority with the Raizal Development Center have a streaming program at 11:55 a.m. in the morning. It start and it stand approximately 10 to 20 minutes, and someone different pray at midday. And there are the prayers from our people in the diaspora as well as from people here on territory in the islands, and that's another forefront of our struggle. That spiritual realm that we recognize that we are dealing with, and not only the physical one. And we step Monday past here, we start this new streaming program. We call it If Our People
My
Pray.
people.
If My People Pray, sorry. If My People Pray. We have the support there for a brother there in Cayman's Island that are hosting this program, Dr. Siegfried Castell, Breton. That's a new space. And that we do it with churches, with pastors, with deacons, with laymen, etc. that are, are prayer warriors. Okay? We team up as well with other NGOs if and we go seeking ways and looking ways to team up with more as we go sharing and organize the many work that we are doing. Nationally, we at a national level also we have partners. We have the National Space for Prayer Consultation, what they call Espacio Nacional de Consulta Previa de las Comunidades Negras, Afrocolombianas, Raizales y Palenqueras. That's a space that exists for a while. I think it's in 2012 it was created, and 2015 ratified, and it is in force for more than a decade now. And we have 6 Raizal delegates in that space. We have Silvia Montoya Dofis, Charlie Cotes, Kenya Onubal, myself is there also, Jairo Rodriguez Davis from San Andres and in Providence. We have 2 delegates also in that space, which is Brother Riley Hawkins and our sister Janelli Hooker Hernandez. Those 6 Raizal delegates work, and Pastor Alberto can reconfirm this that I'm saying here. They work harmoniously and not in opposition to the Raizal Council, to the Raizal Authority, because they recognize their role as a delegates for prior consultation, for that human rights that they call derecho a la consulta previa. That's their role. And they team up with the Raizal Council that they keep in communication and share the processes that they are dealing with nationally. They share it to the Raizal Council. That's a harmonious work, right, Pastor?
Correct.
As well, we have other organization in national level, non-governmental organization, some of the best organization in layers that know and dominate the system, the inter-American system of human rights. That's we call it the CAJAR. It stands for Colectivo de Abogados José Alvial Restrepo, the best. And the next best amongst them in the country is the Justicia. You know, we have ILSA. We have the biggest black organization in Colombia, that is PSN, Proceso de Comunidades Negras. We working with them, we near with them, we look support, and we, as what we can support Tina, we are there as well. That's some more of the partners. And internationally, we have our Raizal Diaspora Foundation, which where Pastor Edgardo Martinez Mitchell is the president. And well, if others can help nationally, well, will precisely. We have our own people organize themselves with all the good intention to help back home, to help their people and their territory. So let's be thankful. Let's be thankful. All the help that you can give us, it's needed here. So we appreciate and we welcome the Raizal Diaspora to continue. This streaming program that we are having here, where you are listening to us, where we can be able to inform our people, is give thanks to the support of the Raizal Diaspora Foundation and Pantareya Foundation. As well, you have another organization that help us strongly here. That is FIOPS, a foundation. Dr. Ralph Newball is the head of this foundation. The farmer president was our brother that Glenn Coy, that we those years starting the program. He passed away, and they are there to help us. And in other countries like Jamaica, Nicaragua, and others, we are there with a foot there, seeking support from many organizations and universities in this country and others. And that's the way the Raizal Authority is seeking to do his mission. If we are on our social media, YouTube, Facebook, X or Twitter, Twitch, and we are on the internet radio of Good News from Harbor View from the Association of Baptist Churches. And they will have us today, this morning, by his holiday. Right now it's 9 a.m. Usually we go till 9 a.m. with the radio, internet radio, Good News. But today they tell us that we will be with them, and they will broadcast what we are doing here until we finish. Okay, two is a holiday and they don't have no other program following this one. We appreciate and we send greetings to Good News Radio, and we take a time parenthesis here to those brief news that I apologize. I forget to say at the starting of the program when I was giving the news of the week. There was an incident last week too that we so far here in the island, the government, national government, through the Ministry of Telecommunication, takes steps to close our two ethnic radio station, Good News Radio at Harbor View, that belong to the Association of Baptist Churches, and the next radio station, which is under the leadership of Brother Carlos Puzzi, known as the Christian Radio. They take step, the government, to close both of them under the argument that they don't have a license. We get near to both of these brethren, and they updated us of what is going on, and we are there pending with them to find a solution to this. The Baptist Association had been in Cambly Station this week with functionaries that came to the island to look over that situation, and they're advancing. They tell us that they will keep us updated of the development of this situation until they get back the radio out. Notwithstanding, they are out on internet. We want to share right now the link where you can hear Good News Radio through internet, not through a conventional radio until they fix and they lift up the seal, but through internet. Many of our elders there that live constantly connected to the radio at Harbor View, at Good News Radio, and at the Christian Radio at Brother Carlos Pusey. Both of these have a way to you to hear them through internet. That channel through internet of these two radio stations are not closed. You can connect them, and I will share in a while on the screen. If you who are seeing us and know any elders that you can help, just get near them. Nearly everybody have a smartphone today and show them how they can hear these two stations through internet. Okay? We
Hyro,
go
I
to
think brother Edgar want connect or something. So
brother who?
Edgar from Providence.
Yeah, let me see. Let me send him the link. Let me see. Let me see.
Yeah, I just sent him the link. I just sent him the
Send the
link.
link.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, fine. Yeah, he's here. He's here. Wonderful.
I agree.
Yes. Brother Edgar, good morning. Morning.
Good morning, brother Edgar.
Morning.
Good morning.
Hey, Captain.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, man.
How you there, Pastor? How you there, Hyro? Good morning.
So good to have you
We
here
there,
with
right,
us.
Hyro, them make
Yeah,
famous.
I beg you give me a 5 minutes there because I dey in one other meeting on the next phone.
Okay, okay.
See, I got on the Kachucha Bolshevike.
All right.
Okay.
Good. Okay. Fine. Okay, we'll have him back in a while. So let's go advancing till he's back here. Let me see. I think he's here. Okay. So let's go to our next slide here. I think I went through this already. I explained this, the names them and who form part of the Raizal delegate for the National Space for Prayer Consultation. The 6 Raizal delegates, I named them already. And there is a space where you find the black communities, the Palenqueros, and the Raizales. And whatever we can do with them, we do it together because they have similar struggles. You know, they are pushing for similar things. And in whatever we can do together in common, we do it. Okay, that's the spirit that we are sharing this morning, explaining the teamwork that we have to do because nobody can bear all the load alone. So with that, we end here that first that part with the relation, the sorry partnership and supporters. This is a next affair that we like to share here. How the Raizal Council, how the Raizal Authority interact as a government, as a people, as a nation with the national government. Which spaces of dialogue exist, of representation exists. And I will name a few here and to call on the necessity to build harmony amongst us to do the work. You have a national, Pastor Gar, you remember this space, what they call in Spanish, El Consejo Nacional de Planeación. Remember Brother Juvencio,
Yep.
who was in there for many years? Yep. After Brother Juvencio, he was followed by our brother Walt Hayes, who was the counselor in that national space. The national space is a very interested and a space that you can have the input to the national government of issues around planning. Then they do planning nationally. You can have them to have in account the specificity of the archipelago, okay, and of the Raizal people. So the Raizal people have a seat in there in that Consejo Nacional de Planeación. Today, I am not acquainted with the person. We are not acquainted, but we have to do better there to have a nearer, get near to this person that is representing the Raizal people there. Okay?
Who is there, Hyro, right now?
I searched up this morning the name, let me tell you. is I think it's a lady.
From San
Uh,
Andres?
I'm not sure. Let me share the name. I was looking this morning on internet, and I find the name. Um, Wait a while, is that there? Just give me a minute to make I get to
Brother,
it.
Brother Eddie gone off?
I don't think
Pas-
no,
Pastor Eddie still
Sorry,
on?
no, Pastor
stay
is
here.
here.
Stay.
Oh, okay, okay, Pastor. Good, good.
Bisa.
Okay. Yeah, I have to search for it. I will search on it on the internet. I will give you that name in a while. So another space that we have to deal with the national government is in what they call the Espacio Nacional de Consulta Previa. Okay, that's a space that was created not so long, look more than a decade, in 2012. It was created by ADAF and the Constitutional Court. Where in a moment where they throw down a space that was did exist that they call the Consultivo de Alto Nivel. Someone did sue that space through abuse of power, and indeed it was thrown down, and the court ordered the creation of a new space. In the next program, I will give you more pedagogy about this, but I just, not to drift off, just to mention here that is that space, the Espacio Nacional de Consulta Previa, as a space to interact with the government. And any law that they're going to take out, any legislative measurement or administrative measurement that can affect the black community, the Raizal Palanquero, have to pass through prior consultation process that sometimes take long. We take it time to make sure we don't harm them. Okay. And then you have the Raizal Council, the Raizal Authority. That's the government, the instance of self-government that we autonomously establish, and that the national government, the Colombian government, came to recognize it, and with the time, it get it in a decree, that's the decree 1211 from 2018, and that recognize it as the instance to deal with. Okay, in issue like the prior consultation, no, sorry, the rights statute, and other things that that have to do with the rights of people. And then you have the high level consultative for our black community. Radically, them was revived. I told you, say the demand they done away with that space, and it was revived not so long a few years ago, and they are back. As the word say, consultatives. Consultative. They are not an authority, but an instance that is the government validate with the time. They consult, especially they consult things that have to do with the last 70 of 1993 that was created for the black communities, not for us. We fall in it, and that's where they are. Okay, I think we have back Brother Edgar again on line. Let's give him way. It's a privilege to have him this morning with us. Brother Edgar, if you can, if you are ready, those,
Yeah,
yes,
good morning, Jairo, my friend.
yes, son.
Good morning, Pastor Livo.
No, Pastor are here, Pastor Edgardo, Pastor Alberto, and Pastor Eddie. Also,
Pastor Alberto, Pastor Edgardo, and Pastor who?
Eddie, Pastor Eddie.
Pastor Eddie. Good morning. I appreciate so much the opportunity to be here. Pastor Edgardo, we appreciate a lot your capacity and your resilience towards the mere process was so difficult, man. Yeah, that's all we can do is continue push ahead.
Yes, man. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, we have been sharing this morning, Brother Edgar. We're giving the accountability report of the Raizal Council. We have five programs. This is the fifth one. And we are right now trying to conscious our people how the Raizal Council, the Raizal Authority can do its work, no? And the necessity to team up and make relationship with others. So we share a long list of people who we team up with nationally, locally, internationally. Locally, we mention you all, iFish, another organization in Providence and Kedina and San Andres. So that's what we are sharing to our people, because we don't do the work we are alone. We depend a lot, for example, in the CM Raizal diaspora that you mentioned, and we say it over and over and over again here on this set of programs for the people to understand where the Raizal Council, the Raizal Authority get its strength. It's through the wise actions of connecting and team up and build partnership with others to bear the load and work together.
Yes, and clarify, Brother Edgar, to our people that the Raizal Authority is not one NGO, is not one organization. Is, you know, it's an authority, and we, well, a lot of our people are looking at it as well, acción comunal, or you know what, well, in any organization that we have that are important, but this is like a government. Is a government that needs to have all the different secretariats, them, and all the different legal support and partnership, as I was saying, local, international. You know, like see the big picture. We have to help our people see the big picture, and that this take a lot of work. And so we, a lot of the criticism is rightfully okay, rightfully so, but at the same time they need to know that this take a lot of work. This is not a small endeavor, but this is a government that need a lot of structure and a lot of support. So that's what Hara was trying to explain this morning, of the different partnerships that the Raizal Authority need. And then we don't have no money. Our government need money. You know, the president is working for free. The general secretary is working for free. The foreign minister is working for free. So just trying to help the people see the big picture, and that this take a lot of work, you know, and sacrifice.
Yeah, I believe this is so complex that you don't know where to start from. But I would have started from the way how the Raizal Council, that is one of the authority in the exercise of construction that make in the past, because the Raizal Council is just one of the authority on the whole structure. But make we say is the fundamental, because it's the head of the governance of the Raizal people territory. But something that I noticed, and we have to be clear and honest when we go and start analyze these things. How, for some of them, the Raizal Council went good, when it could serve them interest in certain moment, but it no good now. And precisely no good now because it's trying to put to function the real way how it's supposed to function. I believe this is not a matter of personal, emotional feelings. It's something so fundamental for the Raizal people in general that we can't fall in a personal difference or feelings when time we refer to them here things. We analyze it good because in the past, we make a lot of critique from the Raizal Authority and from how some of the members act towards the obligation with our people. But when we make a meditation about what's going on in all them here days, we say, but it's something that we got, it's something that we can touch. So why should we destroy or obstacle the possibility for this continue develop when time we can dimension it? It's necessary to call, I don't know how we could name, assemble, Congress, one meeting from the Raizal people to take decision and to elect new authorities, because we know that this is a transitional authority with a special mission. That no means say when we tie on only on the mission, the Raizal statute and things like that. He never had to tie on only on one mission. When they put me in either the federation, then put me there like we administrate the resource and the different event from the federation, but we gone further. So nobody can question with that, and we don't feel guilty about that. The federation now is one of the most important organizations from Colombia and one of the most important organizations from fishermen in the Caribbean. And well, you can see all the different results that the federation got, absolutely with the help from people from the Raizal Council, like Jairo and like Pastor Alberto, and with the help of the diaspora, from the diaspora, like Pastor Edgardo, because we have to say the truth. That is the reality of governance. What you all do, Pastor Edgardo, with the diaspora, we all we do together. That is a governance. That is not just a simulacro, it's a real governance. And the federation would have never exist nowadays like how the federation exists. And IFISH like organization would have never got what we got, a structure, what physics structure, and what organization structure. If we never get together, if we never had your support, Pastor, if we never had the support from the diaspora, from Dr. Ral, from Connie, from Edgardo, from Julie, from so much people, Federico, a lot of people come together with this fear reality. And the federation turned to be one of the authorities in the territory for the Raizal people. When we built the decree, we had the support from the Raizal Council. We had the support from the diaspora, and we built the decree, and that is a reality. And we want to carry it to a practice, but we got so much distraction now. So the Raizal Council initialize a process, and the process have to continue. They have defect. We are not perfect, but they have to continue. I was talking with one of the leaders that get out of the Raizal Council this morning. I don't want to mention name because I don't want to call them polemic, cause them polemic, unnecessary polemic. Yesterday and last night and this morning, I get in touch with him and I listen to many of the audios that he sent. And I noticed like that intention. And what we're talking about is put difference one side and put the Raizal people interest front all of it before. And you want that difference, and precisely that is what you call democracy. And we want that. But the difference is supposed to get a structure, one institution, or one institution that can be the channel or the trench or the space where we can run the process to serve the difference them or to register them. Because sometimes the difference then can be superior, you know. In democracy, you don't have to superior difference. What you have to do is to register it, and that will be like what demonstration of a reality from the moment for the future generation. And the difference is very important for democracy. Imagine if all we would have think the same. Imagine down to in the Bible, in the Christianity, you have it. Your free will, the libre albedrío, that is very fundamental. You can analyze the sin Theologically, you can analyze sin without that. And I believe the difference is good. We want, instead of we annul the difference, we want more difference. More difference is more exercise of knowledge and more opportunity. We want more difficultness. More difficultness is a challenge to superior, to be better. And then what happened, we imagine, and that is around Christianity. We imagine a society without problem, a life without difference, a life that is fascism. Pretend to annul the difference. You have to recognize the importance of the difference. So, okay, I believe the exercise now is to convince who do believe in it that is necessary to get out with all our difference and we fight for Raizal people. And that is the message from the Federation. What going on in the interinstitutional act 3 days is important, but it's very dramatic because we insist in the process. You have vices that insist to be destructful and go in direction to destroy the person, the entity from the person. And I believe we have to get over that. That don't mean that I'm absolute wrong because you got a lot of unfeelings in this. We got it. I talked last night with one of the contrary, and them say, okay, make we get back together. I tell him, wait. We don't have to be friends and drink rum together and go and party together. We got something in common. We have something in common. It's our Raizal people interests, the future generation, the survival of the Raizal people, the right that the Raizal people have to live, Mark, and to survive. And that they over everything.
Let me add something there, Edgar. Precisely when we start this series of program, the first thing we deal with, that was last year, is to share with our people that what you are saying, personal affair or self-centeredness. That was the topic we talked. We explain how human being by nature, all part of the world, all you human tend to be self-centered. They figure the world swing around them. All of we, because we have the eyes here, we look out and we figure we are the center of the world. Everybody have that natural sensation. Well, that is something that each one of us have to be able to control and understand that is not so. And when you're coming on to teamwork and serving people, as the Bible and Christianity talk about, serve people, then you sacrifice yourself for the sake of people. Not suiciding yourself, no? But you play a role where you are not the most important person, but you learn to work together, you learn to think in collectivity, and sometimes you avoid through a rock after something when you understand, you can see why in destroy and affect the collectivity. You be tolerant. You have good tolerance as well as you got bad tolerance. And some moment you have to those tolerate and work together. We share those things because they are key and basic and fundamental element to work together and try to teamwork and have unity. If the individual don't have those minimum conditions, as what you always say to us, and we agree on that, not every situation will give for a unity because you have some minimum condition that the individuals have to have. One of them is humility. They have to be humble. A person with a big or a heart of too much pride, it won't permit them to renounce from certain things and be, understand and be humble. That don't help in a process of teamwork. So those elements we treated for over if 3 weeks or 4 weeks when we start out this series of program to try instigate that in all our leaders, starting from our own self. Martin Luther King, did I read one of his sermon, and he said, look, I am not exempted from that pressure as a human to be self-centered. I had to struggle with that, Martin Luther King said. I had to hold on that self-centeredness. When people tend to those me, or I know you have to replace that to we, it had to work together. You don't have to strive to be the only star in the sky. The sky is filled with millions of stars. Together we can brighten San Andres and Providence. Everybody play a role in humbleness and learn to work together. I did move off on the Raizal Authority for 8 years. I was out. And in an act of protest, because I didn't like certain thing that was going on. But one thing sure, I never yet attempt against the institutionality of the Raizal Council. To the contrary, when the Raizal country fell in a moment in front of President Santos, this man that is speaking to you is one that helped to build back again the relation between the Raizal Council and the government of Santos when he disconnect and he condemned totally. I was the person to intercede and beg and teach the man that there was a Raizal authority that he had to learn to respect and deal with. In spite I wasn't in it, because I did pass a letter and draw away and I remain out for 8 years. In spite of that, I defend the institutionality, because the institutionality of the Raizal Council is the Raizal people. I can't attack the Raizal people. I can't go around. You see what FICO, another one, did to supposedly to President Petro. Figure said was doing to Petro, and there was Petro and do it to the whole Colombia. They take up, they travel to United States, they tell a bunch of lie against Petro, they poison the North American government, Donald Trump, the president, against Petro. That this man considered that Petro was the head of the drugs dealers. That this man decides saying why invade Colombia and why take up like how he did with Maduro. When Fico and other one did that, they didn't attempting against because they don't fancy Petro. They are attempting against the whole Colombian people and themselves. So that's what we call upon. We can have people that don't agree and don't fancy Pasi Alberto or don't fancy me. I didn't fancy someone, I draw out from it by myself, but I respected them and I defend the institutionality. I was the one to rebuild back the relation with the government of Santos with the Raizal Council. Most people don't know that. That don't know. One time, you remember one time they had a protest down in San Andres when they lock up President Santos in the gobernación. When he had to walk out through the back door, well, the man cop run over and decided saying never want one single thing to do with that, those that say that it was part of the Raizal Authority. And it was me in an opportunity had to intercede and show him, explain him. And he smiled and he laughed and he said he finally understand what going on. And I start to intercede to build back the relation between the presidency of Colombia with the Raizal Authority, which I was disagreeing with many of them. And you know one reason why I was disagreeing with them? When they was arguing that they was there as Raizal Authority to remain as Raizal Authority until the Estatuto Raizal is ready. And I told them it cannot be so because we didn't design this thing for nobody to screw down himself on the seat. It was to be periodical and to be democratic space, you know. And to the day when they defend that they was to be in power until the Estatuto Raizal get. Would that mean to say the Estatuto Raizal take 30, 40, or 50 years? We will have those same members as authority, and we try to show them that that's not healthy and that is abusing of the will, the goodwill of the people. And we know are there back after 8 years and working to have that third Raizal Congress and open up that space. And now those that wanted to be there 30, 40, or 50 years are now criticizing. That's that don't, right?
Can I say
Yes.
something?
Yes, Pastor Heidi.
I think it's good what Brother Edgar J is highlighting, and it's very important couple words comes to mind. The way you guys started, or where, let me forget that word. You, we started out this program. We started out by reinforcing the idea of governance by calling out. We have a president, we have general secretary, and things like that. That's very important, not only to the mind, our mind, but to the reality of where we are going. And we need to remember that. Secondly, we are talking about a very important concept, which is maturity. Maturity requires not only humility, but to understand that even in our feelings and in our hurt, we can dialogue because we are building something outside of ourselves and bigger than ourselves. And Mr. Edgar J says something very important for future generation. We can't think about the moment. And I think that is one of the weaknesses that we have as Raizal people. That's why we always go back to um, this happened, this occurred, and this is going on. But we are not thinking on the future generation. And I am thinking about my two sons and their grandchildren. What kind of nation I am going to contribute and build for them? A nation that is self-centered, a nation that is all about what I can get and how I can get, so I can get something material, and when that lasts and that gone, what about the future generation at the expense of their livelihood on a land and a territory that their ancestors inherited? So I think the fundamental question that we need to keep in mind is the fact that we are building a nation. That thought itself helped me to realize that we are building something. You realize that we are building something, and not only that we are building something, but we are looking back at Mr. Juvencio Gallardo and all these pioneers that left something for us. So the question that we need to ask is, what are we going to leave based upon what have been given unto us? This self-centeredness and this strive and this my way is higher than your ways and your ways is higher, and so we have this conflict. Instead of we are building something democratic where all of us can participate and enhance and ensure that we leave something where our children, they can thrive and they can build something and they can have a voice and they can realize that I have a past and I have a history. I can reference Mr. Edgar James. I can reference that Mr. Juvencio, Dr. Rav, Dr. Edgardo, Pastor Alberto, Brother Jairo. I can reference them and I can go back in the annals of history and research their contribution and work more than what I can get out of the Raizal cause and the Raizal problem. We are not here to exploit these things. So what I want is that we need to begin changing our vocabulary, or what I call a decolonized prison mind. We need to decolonize this mind that we have prison, that, hey, what I can get out of this, because we are somehow I'm struggling with this word survival, or being a survivor. What we can do uh, to not only survive but to live, to live and to flourish in what has been given to me from my ancestors, instead of surviving under a system that is choking me and oppressing me, and starting to think what Pastor Reno would have called a collective consciousness. What about that? And that should be bigger than us. So are these Christian
Yes.
values is only theory or concept, or are there practical ways we can use them to continue this process? So I think that's where we need to come back. We need to be mature. We need to be mature to build a democracy and a government that can ensure that our future generation can build upon what we left for them.
Sure. And just let me interject very quickly here. Yes, we are building something that is bigger than us. We are building a government. This is about governance. And as Jairo was saying initially, as the Bible say, you love God and you love people. Stokely Carmichael had a word where he used to say, unconditional love for your people. We need to help our people grow in an unconditional love for our people. And I agree with, and yes, we are building democracy, and in democracy you have differences. But I accept the differences that comes from principles and values and policies. Maybe I think that something should go right and you think it should go left. But I need to know that those differences come from a place of collectivity, of community, of the bigger picture. When those differences are rooted in self-centeredness and the hunger for power and protagonism and money and egocentrism, then I have a problem. I really have a problem. We can't accept the differences that is destroying the Raizal Authority because of self-centeredness and because of power and money that is blinding our people. We need to help those people understand that this thing is bigger than them, is bigger than us, is about loving our people, loving our island, looking towards our future generation, the development and sustainability. That's why we talk about sustainable development. Sustainable development is not for now, it's to sustain our ecosystem, our seas, our fisheries, our land for the future generation until the Lord ready to come and finish this thing. So we really need to help our people to see that this is about a bigger picture that is bigger than us, bigger than even our organizations, because it's not about our organizations. It's not about EMNSD, or it's not about iFish, or it's not about this organization or the other, or the Raizal diaspora. This is about a people and a future generation, a present and a future generation. And we need to look towards that, building this institution. They criticize the Raizal Authority, the Raizal Council, as it is now. And yes, there are a lot of things that we all of us criticize. Edgar was mentioning a lot of things that he has, and all of us have it. But that doesn't mean that we are going to condemn it and kill it and build something different and try to having power here and that we have to come in together and build and have building capacity for the Raizal Authority, because they don't have. I mean, they don't even have an office. They don't have no resources, no secretary, a government. We need a government that have all the structures and the institutionality to function, and that's where we have to work towards that. But we have to help our people that this is not about me, this is not about my power, my money, and no, we have to go beyond that. Anyway, that's just what I wanted to interject, brother Jairo.
Pastor, I want to say something, comment something about that. I believe Pastor Edgardo, Pastor Eddie, they touch the button. Make we say this Raizal Council is the seed that initialize everything. But I believe the fact of the problem, or make we say the different conflict that we having now, is that it basing on personal interests and the exercise of leadership that we have in the territory. You want I tell you something? The people them not believe say I do got anything, material things. They not believe it. Okay. In them out there? No. Tell him thanks you, hear him with me. Father Benito. We never send we couldn't send fish yesterday, and we forget we got 3 months now. We're not sent to the ancianato. But look, the people them don't believe that I do have anything. They don't believe it. They look on this here, so, and they say, Edgar rich. And believe it, well, I know they try, Marnie, I know they try to convince no one for nothing, because I know they have it that. But my bank account lose actualization from last year. I don't have no bank account. And I don't need it. If I can eat my food here and I can throw a mattress here and sleep on somewhere dry, what else I need? The people then believe they can live in a 2 house at the time, they can drive in a 2 car at the time, they can drive on 2 bike at the time, in a 2 plane at the time. You can't do that.
And they need 4 contract at the time.
Some of them, I know a girl here in Providence have 7 contract.
What?
7 contract, and each one of the contract, the smallest one is from 5 million.
Wow.
We have a problem of greediness, and his leader is a leader. It's a matter of greediness. So I know they say we the parody Jesus Christ, we can't be like him. We will never be like him, but at least we follow the example, no? The exercise for leadership have to change. The model of leadership have to change. But we can't obligate the people to change. What we can do is preach with our example. And I believe in the territory you have many examples, and I can't believe it. So then create history, wrong history, fake history about it, because it's unbelievable the people that have a selfish humanity. The leader and the leadership is not an opportunity for the person. That is a bad analysis. It's a wrong point of view. They start wrong. You think that? Start wrong. But like how you say, Pastor, when the difference is by principles, conviction, knowledge, and the direction that, or the course that you want to take, well, is a difference that got value and is important to serve it or to recognize and accept it. But when the difference is because I want more you, or because I grudge you because you buy a car, or I grudge you because you graduate or you specialize, that is something very difficult to handle. That need no organization. It need a psychiatrist.
Exactly.
And so the model of leadership, we can talk about the model of leadership that we exercise, and with a lot of mistake. You your own self, Pastor, because you know, say you and Pastor Alberto, I assume like my spiritual leaders, and you call my attention about it, because sometimes we very aggressive and we end up in angriness and stupidity because we are emotional entities. We are emotional existence. And but the leadership is not our opportunity for the person.
Exactly.
It's opportunity for the cause.
Yeah.
For the purpose, for the
You know, Jesus said it himself. Jesus says, I did not came to be served. That is the best model of leadership. I did not come to be served, but to serve. A leader is a servant.
Exactly.
And that's something else that we have to help our leaders understand. It's not
we leader they not take that so. They say it's my chance, no, it's my opportunity, no, and I want contract. Look, I know I mentioned that part. A near falling out because they try to billion it, not true. That is the idea. A near mention it because it's a desfile from contract. That is not wrong. You are a professional. You got right for contract. You got right for charge for your work. But you want to use your leadership to empower yourself over the cause of your people. Come on. And you want to annul the mission that you have or blockade the mission that you got. Your personal interest going to turn to be a blockade for that. What obstacle, what problem, what conflict. That is what's going on. So the leadership that we exercise in here is a leadership of sacrifice.
Yeah.
I don't know. One of them, one of the fishermen come and tell me, he said, you madman. You they call me if me go sacrifice. I tell him I no business what you going to do, you know. I can't control what you going to do, but I can control what I going to do, what I want to do. And my desire is this, and it's my conviction. So I believe, Pastor, we're finished with this now. Maybe we choose the longer road, the longest one, and the one we full up a rock, it full up a pickle, it full up a all kind of things that can hurt you. A longer, but a more secure.
Yep.
Then you don't run the road,
Yeah.
it better be the community, because the only thing can rebuild back the spirituality, the conviction, the principles, the basic Christianity from our community is that them
Yeah.
here cannot exercise.
Yes.
Look, I tell the last thing here, I tell one of them leader when they yarn and say, so that what the solution, since uno believe uno got all the solution, tell me one solution. I tell him, look, this is a community that claim that is a Christian. And every time you talk with the people, and that's how they do that call God name. Everything they call God name for. For good and for bad. I tell them, well, make we do something, apply the 10 Commandments. And it done. If you apply that, you don't have to go to the Derecho Romano, you don't have to go to Andres Bello, you don't have to go to the United Nations Declaration. Apply that, the 10, and it's sufficient. That is sufficient to me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Pastor.
Or the two where Jesus give, love God and love your neighbor. That summarize everything. Brother Hyro, come on. You know how much time Hyro called me? Or I did talk to Hyro. Just last week, Hyro, no, I don't buy the university. I was the Keran one. No, the writers so they clean out the office. Or sometime Hyro call Hyro, they walk from the university, they walk going home. All hours a night. You know? And so people don't see those things and the sacrifice that these things take. I think Nelson Mandela have a book. His book is Long Walk to Freedom. Took him 27 years in prison. 27 years in prison. But it worked a while. It was the long road, but it run the while, as you were saying. Pastor Alberto Jairo. Because you know me and Edgar can stay and talk the whole day, and also Jairo.
Yes.
Sorry.
Sorry, I had to half a while. Well, we're coming on to the end of the program. We got over the time this morning, but this was good. Brother Edgar, thank you to join in. We planning a program.
Thank you, Hyro. Thank you.
Yeah, planning a program. We deal exclusively with the many issues there that you are leading and issues there in Providence, like the reconstruction. We want to thank everyone that accompanied you this morning. Pastor Alberto, Pastor Eddie, Pastor Edgardo, Brother Edgar, and our listeners out there. We will be back again on Friday with our next emission. Wednesday, remember our program in Wednesday night, special for education. Wednesday at 30, we have our program for education. Syntonize us as dear. Pastor Edgardo, please dismiss us in a word of prayer.
Sure. Heavenly Father, we come before you in the name of Jesus. We give you praise and thanks for this opportunity to speak to our community. We thank you, Lord, for the life you give us in on these islands in Providence, Catlina, San Andres, for all our leaders, our organization, for our Raizal Authority. We just thank you, Lord, for the opportunity you give us to serve. I pray that you will continue to give us and our people and our leaders a servant heart, a servant leadership model, and that we can think in an unconditional love for our people. So bless this time, bless this day in a special way. We want to pray for the Britton family in Providence, Robert, wife, and his children as they mourn his death, and also for Mr. Glenn in the United States, for Francis, his wife, and all his children, and Dr. Ralph and all the family. We lift them up, Lord, and we pray your comfort and your peace upon their lives. And so just continue to bless us, bless our organizations, bless us with resources, human resources, financial resources, and that you will empower us, Lord, even more, that we can continue this struggle for dignity, for human rights, for justice, for equity, because you are a God of justice. And we pray that your justice reign on our islands. We love you, Lord. We praise you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
All the best.
All right.
God bless you. No. All right. All right.
Raizal people, it's time for the uprising. Let us rise and shine.
When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when you feel like giving up, as you try to bother him,
when you feel like smiling, but your heart feels so trill, yeah. Don't give up, rest if you will, but keep your unbroken will, yeah.
like the sun, the moon, and the stars in the sky. Again and again, lift your head high. So please, don't you cry. Tell Jah, He will satisfy.
Once again, me say rise, I shall rise. We no have time to cry, everything will be fine. We stand strong, it's time to move on. We go reach to the stars, to the moon, to the sun.
This is something me want to know if you understand. Rise and people give thanks to the Almighty One. Cause all of the grown are singing song. Rise and shine, so shall sing in a this a song.
Rise and shine, rise.
Where there is light, there will be hope.
Rise and shine, rise.
Oh, no, Jah, that is for sure.
Rise and shine, rise.
Standing up strong, I reach for your goal.
Rise and shine, rise.
Let us all unite with one heart and soul.
One day our hearts will no more be hurt. All the pain and suffering rise on, it will surely work.
The day we come together and stand up with determination,
Then rise our nation
we'll shout out for liberation. To take back the territory. Cause this land that we fight to free our dignity. Free the chains and bandage of colony.
Far away from home, but still worry about their own. Maybe strength to the people nice. Therefore, it had to run.
Waiting for its diaspora through the island in the sun. Rise and shine out your rise and all ye daughters and sons, yeah.
And again, it will be nice. Do not yourself minimize. Sense of belonging must be sky high. Stand up strong, rise up, proud the sun of the sky.
Leave behind nights after all fear. Just remember Jah come when the morning clear. Pray Jah and put your hand up in the air. In Jah hand now everything gone clear.
wake up and live, rise and we soon clear the hill. If we stick together still, no way they could break our will. It's time to be great again. Arise and shine. Wake up and live. generation.